Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Stokastic MLB strategy show right here on the YouTubes. Dave Lochran, glad you guys are with us. And 12 gamer I think we got today, monster slate. Huge Friday slate to take us into the weekend. I'm excited about it. Some really good pitching. Some really good pitching today. And I'm looking forward to it. I also got a little surprise for you guys. So stick around. And if you have to bounce, come back in a little bit. Certainly worth your while. But hey, good morning to all of you guys. Michael, Cujo, Jameson. Hey, that's nice. Lafayette is by far the best strategy show. Thanks, dude. Running it solo. We're trying. Got a lot more. I've done a lot of solo shows in my life, but not for DFS. For betting, for everything else. So out of the gate, a little choppy, but I think we've streamlined the process a little bit. Matter of fact, I used to have, for some of you guys that have known me a little while, I had a show on Sirius XM Fantasy for a while, probably like from 2015 or 2016 to 2020. And during COVID, I had to run that solo for 2 hours while there were no sports, but like Korean baseball and esports. So if there was ever a time to get battle tested on figuring out how to do shows by yourself, yeah, do it during COVID when you have clearly no football at the time. Baseball didn't start yet. There was nothing. And it was brutal. It was horrible. I never dread doing shows. I've never dreaded that more in my life. Really just wanted to go back to drinking. But anyway, glad to have you guys with us. Hey, if you don't mind, take a single second, hit that thumbs up, atone for your sins this fine morning. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up. That goes a long way. It's totally free too. Ben's the one that mentioned that once. I was like, no, that's not going to resonate. Everyone knows it's free to hit subscribe and the thumbs up. Apparently not, because we did the best numbers ever. And if you're watching or listening after the fact, leave a comment down below. At the very least, I try and read all of them. Yeah, Brian, the NBA 2K Sims that we did, Josh, Ben, and myself. Matter of fact, I don't know if you remember, we gave away some huge prizes. Like we gave away 10K to first for that. We actually, our devs killed it. Our devs built out an entire like contest entry thing that everyone could build. We were giving away 10,000 in cash, and then we gave away like 80-inch flat screens and all of this crazy stuff. That was one of the craziest things we've ever done. And you know what? That was fun. That was fun. A lot of fun. That daily show, Steven, what a disaster that. Well, there wasn't anything going on. Can you blame us? We had to do something. Anyway, appreciate you guys jumping in. A lot to get into. Yo, can we just say, for those of you that were here yesterday with me, we looked at the Sims. We said, you know what? Let's put a little faith in what we're getting here with these Sims. We're gonna go heavily underweight on Gossman, and we're gonna get to a fair amount of Tampa Bay stacks. And we had to wait for that game. It was an island 3 o'clock game. Rays finish up with 3 home runs, 8 runs. Gossman strikes out 6, but gives up 6 runs. And I looked at the 3 top tournament plays, the 3 top guys in the tournament from yesterday. All of them had at least 3 Rays. So it's fun to see that stuff. Fun to see that stuff. Nate, what's up? Laffy, good morning. My guy cutting some king salmon portions and some swordfish this afternoon. Yeah. Jenna, Laffy, Sirius paid you $500 per show. Why did you leave? No, they didn't. And honestly, even if they did, I'm not sure I would want to do it anymore. But no, they did not. I'll tell you that much. Rams stacked Tampa Bay and went Gunner instead of Ellie because I'm a genius. Cost me the 121 single entry. Yeah. What did the Orioles finish with? 0 runs, and the Twins are on an 11-game win streak. Amazingly, still 4th in their own division after winning 11 straight. All right, let's get into it. And as I said, stick around. In a few minutes, I'll hit you guys with something good. I think you're going to like it. So let's make it happen. We got 12 games and absolutely zero shortage of pitching today. So I want to pull up Jake's comment real quick. Hey, Jake, nice to see you, pal. And walk through this. I haven't even read it yet, but I saw the first line. I'm a little confused by pitcher ownership. Looking last night, I figured Taj Bradley and Dustin May would be giga chalk. All right, so let's talk about it. One, I could see why that would be the case somewhat. But also, I think we're overlooking a couple of spots here. One, Corbin Burnes is at home against the Colorado Rockies. To me, if I eyeballed this slate, just eyeballing this slate, I would have said Corbin Burnes is actually the highest owned pitcher on the slate. And I would have been slightly wrong. He's right now the third highest projected owned pitcher. Chris Sale has his former team in the Boston Red Sox at 8,900. A lot of that, Jake, and anybody listening, that's a price point thing. You know, you're getting him sub 9K. He's got a fantastic K rate. You're looking at, his last 3 games, 8, 10, and 10 strikeouts. Granted, what is that noise? I was recording a video last year when an earthquake hit here. But what the fuck was that? Oh, I'm in a severe thunderstorm. That's it. All right, well, if I lose power, you guys know why. My whole house just rumbled. So I wasn't sure what was going on. Anyway, back to business. Again, if I lose power, I'm letting you know in advance. You know why. I'll try and get back on and reestablish connection. But Corbin Burnes, obviously, right? And then you have Cole Reagans at 9,300. I can't help but think, and Jake, I'm directing this towards you because you brought up a good question. I can't help but think this is just a talent combined with price thing right here for these 3 guys, Sale, Reagans, and Burnes. I know Burnes' K rate hasn't been insanely great, but this matchup it's not just a great matchup. It's the best matchup in baseball by a wide margin. That's not hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. This is a considerably better matchup than the White Sox or the Marlins or the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's how bad the Colorado Rockies have been. The one that surprises me the most is the Reagans one. I would have thought Reagans is getting less ownership than some of these other guys, truthfully. And then Garrett Crochet against Atlanta. There's strikeout stuff there, for sure. But it's these 3 guys. Now, we can talk about Taj Bradley because I was digging into him a little bit before we started the show. The interesting thing about Taj Bradley is, or you know what? Let's say the confounding thing, the thing that doesn't make any sense about Taj Bradley, where have his strikeouts gone? This is a guy who in his first 2 seasons, we knew that at the very least, even if he walked 5 and gave up 3 runs and only made it 4 2/3 innings, that we were basically locking in 7 or 8 strikeouts, right? We could feel pretty confident that if nothing else, even if the wheels began to fall off, he'd still be missing bats. So how is his strikeout rate down more than 8% this season, yet his walk rate has somehow come up? At least if your K rate's going to come down, your walk rate should come down with it. But that hasn't been the case. And it's strange to me. It's very strange. He's also not giving up any, 5% barrel rate is good. But how is his swinging strike rate down 3.5%? Right? What are we missing on Taj Bradley here? What is Taj Bradley's, defect? I always type in Taj Gibson. Taj Bradley. There's got to be something here. Let's just say, velocity. So that's probably important that we check that first. Velocity's fine. Let's see if he's throwing the same pitches. Yep. Very similar pitch mix. So where is he just splitter? He's getting a lot less whiffs. He's getting fewer whiffs on the 4-seamer, but not something that jumps off the page. I don't know. It's just really shocking that his strikeouts have been non-existent. And I promise you, I'm not making this up. Look at his last 5 games. 3 Ks, 3 Ks, 2, 1, and 5. So what? He had Milwaukee, Yankees, Royals, Arizona, and Yankees. That could have something to do with it, right? I'd be willing to go back to Bradley here. I don't know if there's anything that suggests that this guy's just been bad. Like that he can't get any strikeouts anymore. I don't know what it is outside of the fact that maybe these matchups have just been tough for him. Let's see. Yeah, like, look, his swinging strike rate against Colorado, against Texas, against, not Atlanta, but against the Yankees in that game, they were all good. That's great. And then they just bottomed out. Last start, 11.9%. All right, I don't see anything at first look that would tell me not to play Taj Bradley. So let's consider him a pretty viable play here. If Taj Bradley has a good start today against Miami, this guy's probably going to be like 8K next time out. Might be the cheapest we get him all season, as a matter of fact. And just looking at the top pitchers tool, I am a little bit surprised that his top 2 pitcher probability is as low as it is. So, Jake, I'll give you that much for sure. But if you look at some of these cheap guys, and as always, guys in chat, if you have questions about guys, you want to dig into some of these pitchers, let's do it. I think JP Sears is a viable guy to look at 7,400, but it's going to be tough to get there on such a big slate. But Kahanowitz, no. Man, Beto didn't get out of the second inning yesterday. Did you guys see that pitcher's duel between DeGrom and Hunter Brown, by the way? What an incredible game. Hunter Brown takes the loss, goes 8 one-run innings, could have gone 9 if he needed to. But DeGrom was dominant on the other side. Went 8 scoreless. Insane pitching duel on both sides. It's always crazy when a guy takes a loss like that. Reminds me of when Roy Halladay got the perfect game against the Marlins. The Phillies won 1-0 in that game, and the only reason that he actually completed that was because Cameron Maybin, when he was on Miami, committed an error at center field. And that was the only run of the game for the Phillies. Maybe never would have had that perfect game. Cameron Maybin made the catch. But Tanner Gordon against Arizona, no thank you. Andre Pallante is a fine enough pitcher, but there's really no strikeout stuff there. And Kansas City strikes out at a bottom 5 clip. Cade Povich, pass. You want to go to $5,200 Cade Povich, be my guest, but I'm good. Logan Evans, I don't have much interest there at all against a good San Diego offense. Puts the ball in play at every plate appearance. Lance McCullers, coming back from an extended absence, has not looked good. I'm pretty sure he got blown up last start, right? Just like destroyed. Yeah, he lasted a third of an inning last time out. Prior to that, 3 2/3 with no earned. But I remember watching that game and following along. He was not sharp. No interest in McCullers at 6,800 against Texas, even against a bad Texas offense. Chad Patrick against Minnesota, no. And maybe you get trace amounts of some of these guys like Sears and Patrick. I'm going to pull up our Sims run in just a second. Bowden Francis against Detroit, that's all you guys. Steven Kolek, no. Seattle has really limited strikeouts this year. It's surprising. I don't have interest in 7,700 there, do you? Tyler McGill against the Yankees, and then you get up to this range. And now you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 pitchers who in some form or fashion look decent. Now, I don't know about you. Carlos Rodon and Nathan Eovaldi probably don't enter many of my lineups because you are paying a premium here for good pitchers, yes, but you're paying a premium when you have guys who are markedly less expensive. Corbin Burns against Colorado. I mean, even Logan Webb with how he's pitched this year, save for one performance, you're getting a cheaper Logan Webb. You're getting a sub 9K Chris Sale. Tougher matchup for Cole Reagans, but 9,300. And it's not exactly like Nathan Eovaldi or Carlos Rodon have good matchups themselves. So to me, that's just a tough spot to get to. Maybe you want to get leverage there, but I think there's plenty of other leverage spots where you have 3 pitchers taking up, a combined, like 100% ownership between Reagan, Sale, and Burns, and then 15% to Garrett Crochet. He's the guy getting the bulk of the ownership. Mackenzie Gore is an interesting one at 8,600. But there's another guy I want to throw out there for you guys and get your thoughts. I saw a lot of his props getting steamed yesterday. I actually bet them. It was like midnight. I bet the over on strikeouts for Jack Flaherty. I bet the over on innings pitched. Does that mean he's going to go over? No. But it means that it makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah, Power. The fact that Buxton's out after hitting that homer yesterday, not as a result of that, but he hit a homer first. Correa in concussion protocol. That's what I'm saying. I think Chad Patrick, if I'm talking about the cheap guys, looks okay. Bet the over on strikeouts there. And you know that has to do with the fact that you've got guys that got banged up. But Dustin May at 7,200, only pulling 10%. So we talked about Taj Bradley. Looking at that, I am of the opinion, and you can form your own opinion. I'm of the opinion that there is a lot of noise going on, and he has had some tough matchups. And now he gets a pretty decent matchup where he may be able to kind of, right the ship. Dustin May has a 20% K rate this year. He's been a pretty decent pitcher, as a matter of fact. You got him against an Angels team that strikes out at the highest clip versus right-handed pitchers. We know that. So I'm okay there. Let me see if it's still, let's refresh this and see if there's still the highest K rate in baseball versus righties. Yeah, by a full percent, 27%. Look at that. Look at that. 27%. So yeah, I get it. I haven't even looked at my exposures yet. I have more fun doing it this way. And then we look. But Jack Flaherty's the guy today. If he's getting 4% ownership, he hasn't been able to go as deep into game. Last year, the guy was an Iron Man. I swear he went like 12, 13 straight starts with 6 innings pitched. He was an Iron Man for sure. This year, not quite as much. But he's still striking out 29% of batters that he's faced. The barrel rate stinks. I mean, that's a little bit concerning. But it's not against the power-happy team either. It's against the Toronto team that sure doesn't strike out a lot, but they are not towards the top of the board at all in power. Matter of fact, I think they're towards the bottom. Yeah, Toronto against righties has a 129 ISO this year and a sub 100 WRC plus. So while they don't strike out, there may be some longevity here for Flaherty. And if he's getting 4%, I would have some interest there. I would absolutely have some interest. And my guess is that no one's going to really want to play Jack Flaherty at 8K. We're just stacked at pitcher. We didn't even talk about Max Meyer yet. This guy's all over the map. There's no doubt about that. And outside of a couple good games to start the season, he's fallen off a cliff. But the strikeout stuff has been very prevalent. Granted, that one game where he had 14 of them kind of skews things a bit, doesn't it? But probably not a spot you get to much of him. But if you said, you know what, I'm going to get 10% Max Meyer today, I wouldn't fault you for that at all. We are absolutely loaded at pitcher. So let's not bury the lead. Let's take a look at the Sims. Pitcher exposure on my first run. Reagan, Sale, Burns. There's Dustin May for you. 20%. Garrett Crochet. There's 13% Taj Bradley. All right, so Jake, you weren't actually far off at all in what the Sims are giving us. As a matter of fact, I'd say you were spot on. Unless you thought May and Bradley were going to be like 50% each. But I have no problem getting to those 6 pitchers as my highest exposed guys and then sprinkling in Mackenzie Gore and Logan Webb. 7% Chad Patrick, fine with that. But yeah, not getting to a lot of Meyer, not getting to a lot of Flaherty. I tend to trust these tools. And for those of you guys, again, that joined late, the Sims were giving us basically, 15, 20% Gossman on a 4-game slate yesterday when he was getting 63%. I don't know what he actually came in at. And then we were getting 40, 50% raise stacks. 3-mans, 4-mans, 5-mans. And that could not have worked out any better. I had a slightly profitable day. Didn't win anything, but in baseball, you'll take that. So these Sims tools are just insanely powerful with that. They're able to, I don't want to say see things that we don't see, but it definitely calculates things that we don't see, because when you generate the contest in the contest generator before simming them, what you're doing is now you're generating a contest that's mirroring the field, what we think the field is going to look like. If you have that information, do you know how powerful that is? Because now if you can mirror the field, you have an understanding of what type of lineups, when they do well, are actually going to win you money, and which lineups, when they do well, aren't going to win you money because everybody's on them with very similar lineup construction. That's what makes this so awesome. So when I see that, you know what, hey, we are getting to a good amount of Reagans and Sale, and we are getting to a lot of Burns. I would like to get to more Burns personally. I just love this spot against Colorado. But we're getting the 20+% Burns on a big slate. We're getting the 20% May, 16% Crochet, and Taj Bradley at 13%. I'm okay with that. If you're in the Sims and you wanted to make some minor tweaks, like, hey, I'd like a little bit more Gore or Bradley. For me, it would probably be I'd like a little bit more Corbin Burns, because I just have such a low, I have such a low opinion of this Rockies team. But you make some little tweaks, you see how it moves exposures, and then you go from there. That's all you got to do. The guys we're not getting much of, McCullers, no surprise, McGill, Povich, Rodon, or Carlos Rodon, he's so expensive in a tough spot. I'd like to bring Flaherty up, get like 10% of him. That would be nice. Not a lot of Joe Ryan against Milwaukee. I don't know if you guys are thinking what I'm thinking here, but this feels like one of those slates where some of these low-owned pitchers who are just super talented could end up, I don't want to say breaking the slate, because one of Reagan, Sale, Burns, Crochet, like one of those guys, probably two, is going to have a good game. But man, such a low-owned, like Joe Ryan and Webb's getting less than these guys, and Flaherty, who is still a good pitcher. Feels like one of these guys is going to end up popping off for like the 8 scoreless 10K game. But at the end of the day, how many pitchers can you really play before you're just getting 10% of all of them? This looks like an opening day slate, doesn't it? Reagan, Sale, Burns, Crochet. It looks like a Logan Webb, Joe Ryan, Jack Flaherty. It looks like, actually, it would have been Scuball, right? But still, Carlos Rodon. This looks like a legitimate opening day slate. Michael, exactly. Sims tools are great at making you feel comfortable about being uncomfortable. I'll let you steal my line there because it's a good one, but I agree. Pitching's tough. All right, so I told you I had something for you guys. I always show the wins of, like, the big wins. And I was thinking to myself yesterday, like, there are so many mid and low stakes players that use our Sims tools, and I don't showcase that stuff enough. We have a Hall of Fame channel in our company Slack that anybody that ats our Hall of Fame, along with all of those fucking bots, anyone that ats our Hall of Fame with a win, it comes right into the channel, and I get to scroll through it every day. And I saw from just yesterday and the day before, all of these guys saying, like, look at this one. Went into the Sims and quickly made 20 lineups for the second place finish. $600 in the mini max, or in the solo shot. In the quarter jukebox, Boo says, quick run of the Sims right before lock while at work. Made one change, great tools. In the solo shot again, shout out to the MLB guys for Brian. $1,000 first place. Turned the quarter into $350. Thanks, y'all. These type of things, when you look at the actual ROI, are actually more impressive sometimes than looking at the $25,000 win. The ROI and the how difficult it is to win in a solo shot or the quarter jukebox with these massive fields is insane. And we don't give enough credit to these guys. And I thought to myself, like, We actually have so many more low stakes players using the Sims right now. And so many people out there that go, you know what? I'm a low stakes player. I can't afford the Sims. I can't get in on these tools. I'd love to use the single lineup sim. I'd love to use the Sims itself. So I decided to run a little flash sale just for today for all of you guys, or really for anybody who wants to get in. So here we go. 75% off. I don't do this a lot. You guys know this. The entire month of MLB Core Sims monthly. That's less than 99. That's less than $1 a day. It's 99 cents a day. And I can assure you, for those of you that do this because you're trying to make money or it's your favorite hobby, you spend a lot worse dumb money on things than you would be for less than $1 a day. So the link is in the description with code MICRO. I'm not disparaging your hogs here. I'm saying micro for micro stakes. Okay? Don't get offended. Don't start hitting me up in chat being like, hey, Laffy, that's not true. It is big. So, all right, dude. Don't get so defensive. But in all seriousness, 75% off the entirety of the month. That's the core Sims, by the way, guys. That's getting you Sims. That's getting you the single lineup sim. It's getting you top stacks. It's getting you top pitchers, top hitters tools, projections, ownership, every single tool we have. Post-contest Sims, light swap tool. All of that is included. 75% off. 75% off the entire month. That's less than $30 for the whole month. Less than $1 a day with code MICRO, MICRO. Use that link. Use MICRO. Get 75% off the whole month. When I tell you that you are not alone, if you're looking to jump into something like this, being like, yeah, but I play low stakes, it's not worth it for me. Look at this from just the last 2 days. Quarter arcade, solo shot, another quarter arcade. Can't beat it, man. Use code MICRO, 75% off the whole month, less than $1 a day. That'll get you in with the link in the description and get you every single baseball tool that we have. All right, let's make it happen here. Talk about hitters. And if you guys have any other thoughts on pitchers, let me know. So when we talk about stacks today, I'm going to look at our exposures, but first I want to go into the top stacks tool because this is kind of how I do my process. I want to see what the stacks tool gives us first. I want to see what the top pitchers tool gives us first. Steven, I was hoping it was Wawa hot dogs. Wawa hot dogs are delicious, dude. I don't know if you're disparaging them, if that is some type of, subtle blow to the hot dog game at Wawa, but they are fantastic. And they are not micro. They're a mouthful, pal. All right. Arizona against Tanner Gordon. Dodgers against Jack Kohanowitz. No surprise there. Detroit against Bowden Francis is an interesting one because Bowden Francis is proving day in and day out, outside of a singular performance here and there, that this guy will give up power. He gave up, and this is clearly an outlier performance, this guy gave up 5 home runs in a single game less than 3 weeks ago. He's now allowed multiple home runs in 3 starts this season. That's 3 of 8 starts. For those of you keeping track, that's not good. I love doing this to it. If you guys have Fangraphs, you do. It's free. Go into, I don't know why they hide it here, but go to Scores tab and then Probable Pitchers. And if you scroll down, I love looking at home runs per 9. I don't like to look at home runs per fly ball as much as some other people, because what if you're an extreme ground ball pitcher like Andre Palante and you've allowed only 3 home runs on the season, but now your home run per fly ball rate is huge. At least with home run per fly ball rate, if you take that and you take barrel rate and you take, home run per 9, and then you look at fly ball rate and you look at barrel rate, you can get a pretty good idea of who's given up, barreled balls, a lot of fly balls, and that's going to probably lead you in the right direction. But look at this shit. 2.59 home runs per 9 this season for Bowden Francis. That is awful. Absolutely dismal. Jack Flaherty's sitting up there as well, but that number on Bowden Francis is brutal. Brutal. And you've also got a Detroit team that has some power, right? You're talking around top 10 in power this year against right-handed arms. It's a good matchup, no doubt about it. You come down the list a little bit here. Cade Povich has been another one who has struggled with the long ball. Max Meyer, there he is, Jack Kohanowitz. Palante is giving up some pop as well. But he was just an example of an extreme ground ball pitcher. But this Bowden Francis spot, man, you've got a 4.7 run implied total for Detroit. I don't really care that it's not 5.8. And I know it's at the Rogers Center. This is a spot to me that I think looks pretty good. And it's funny because their top stack probability is only 5.5%, but that's third highest on the slate. It's just that Arizona and the Dodgers are so much higher. Arizona's at 13%. The Dodgers are at 12.8%. They're both getting massive ownership. How would I not want to get to some of these other stacks? You guys with me on this? On a slate this big, where you have two teams making up almost a combined quarter of the ownership on stacks. Of course, you'll have secondary stacks within those lineups too, right? That's not lost on me. But what I'm saying is, like Detroit, not getting a lot of ownership because they're not cheap. But Bowden Francis is the type of guy that if he goes out there and gives up 4 home runs, we're going to want some of this Tigers team. For sure. San Diego, another expensive team. That's why they're getting no ownership, but they're top 5 in top stack probability. So then the question becomes, I love working through stuff like this. Can we go cheap enough at pitcher to where it doesn't matter? And we can just get some of these guys? Like if we're getting enough Taj Bradley, if we're getting enough Dustin May, hell, even, like a sub 9K Chris Sale, is that going to do it for us? So here's the big reveal. Arizona, we're getting a lot of, and we are not getting a lot of Detroit. That's unfortunate. I was really hoping we were. That can change throughout the day, as we update projections and rerun the sims and the odds change in Vegas throughout the day. But I really thought we'd get more. And I thought we'd get more San Diego as well. This is clearly then the sim signaling something to us. It's saying these super expensive stacks are not necessarily the answer you're looking for today. Because if you look at the value score, the Arizona Diamondbacks are top 3. The Dodgers are actually top 5. That throws a wrench into the works a little bit. Meanwhile, you've got a Detroit team today where you've got, let's see, Torres, Torkelson, Green. I mean, they're not that expensive, right? They're not a cheap stack, but I don't think they're crazy expensive. San Diego, on the other hand, is a tough team to get to. I can understand that. San Diego bats, you're talking 3 guys at 5,400 or higher on DraftKings. And then even Arias and Sheets and Cronenworth, 4K and up. Tough team to get to. They really are. But all right, so if we're getting a lot of Arizona and a lot of Dodgers, but we're also getting a lot of Sale, Reagans, and Corbin, then what do these lineups themselves look like? 5-3 San Francisco, Arizona. Let me zoom this in for you guys. 5-3 Arizona, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay going up against Max Meyer. I actually kind of like Tampa in this spot. I don't think Tampa is going to be even remotely popular. Right? No. They're not going to be very popular at all. Positively leveraged. Max Myers, purely hit or miss. Chris Sale and Dustin May in that lineup. Sale and Bowden Francis. That's fun. Arizona, Baltimore. Here's a Jack Flaherty and Dustin May lineup. So that's what? An $8K and a $7,200 pitcher with a 4-4 Diamondback Dodgers stack. Yeah, that is sick. With Muncy, Betts, Ohtani, Corbin, Carroll. Wow. So that's kind of your pay down spot. You're spending only $15,200 on pitcher. Reagans and Dustin May with a 5-man Baltimore against Mackenzie Gore. Reagans and Corbin Burns with a 5-2 Baltimore. That's interesting. Picking on Gore a little bit here. How much of this just has to do with the fact that that outside of really Gunnar Henderson and I guess Cedric Mullins, this is a cheap Baltimore team? That could be it. Because Mackenzie Gore is a solid pitcher, man. He does give up some power, though. And of course, like if you're looking at some of these lineups and you see Baltimore, just because it's one of the best simmed lineups doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be one of our highest owned stacks. In this case, they are getting our third most exposure at 7%. Tampa's at 6, Kansas City's at 4. Don't take all of this at face value because things can change. You never want to just set and forget lineups at this time of the day. But Miami Dodgers here, 5-3 with Crochet and Burns. That's a sick lineup. Nobody's going to want to stack Miami. But if Taj Bradley is, in fact, if there is something going wrong under the hood, then there's that. Einsteinium, what's up, man? Oh, by the way, Einsteinium, I talked to our data team. They're actually working on getting a significant amount of data as far as like the post-contest sims go. And one of the ideas I've had, I don't know when it comes to fruition, is not just being able to look at stack type. And tell me if you guys would like this. I was thinking about something where you kind of have a Sims lab, right? Which is like you could go in there and you could see how stack types have done by slate size, by contest size, by like single entry or max or 150 max, like MME contests. For football, you could see like, hey, how have lineups performed across this many slates with the tight end at the flex position, or with, you know, quarter running back, wide receiver stack, no quarterback. I don't know. That type of stuff to me is super fascinating. Being able to kind of take all of that and pull some levers and see where it's at, I think would be awesome. Let me know if that's something that would interest you guys. To me, that would be one of the coolest things that you could have. Having access to all of that historical data within all of the contests to be able to see like what type of builds, what type of ownership or simmed ROI percentage has performed the best for the field, the best for you, all of that. But yeah, I think that'd be cool. Yeah, Baltimore's got some weather that we should be looking at. Yankees game. The only reason I'm not talking about too much of it right now is because there's several games and we're so early in the day. But as always, pay attention to weather. Anyway, looking at some more of these stacks, there's a few that I think we can rule out. Like, I don't think you're getting much of the Athletics or Colorado, Milwaukee, Houston, a little bit of Miami. Probably not a lot of the Angels or Boston against Chris Sale. None of those spots really stand out to me at all. And they weren't standing out in the Sims. One thing that did stand out to me, which is why I love using these tools, is that on some of these bigger slates, you don't often see a lot of 3-man stacks or 4-man stacks. Arizona and LA were getting a lot of 3 and 5-mans. And a lot of 4-mans for Arizona. Yeah. Tampa Bay, 6%, both 3-mans, 4-mans, 3% or 4%, 3% 4-mans, 6% 5-man stacks. Lot to digest here for such a big slate. All right, Einstein, and you keep talking about Seattle here. We can dig in. It's not exactly the worst matchup either. This park can be friendly for homers. It's in San Diego. Stephen Kolek on the mound. Seattle has positive leverage in the top stacks tool. Okay. I can dig it. Let's take a look at something for a second. Now, Stephen Kolek in 14 innings has not allowed a home run, but it's 14 innings, so let's not, base all of our decisions on that. We can look at the Seattle team for a second. So you got the right-handed Stephen Kolek. So let's do this. First, we already got it pulled up. Seattle against righties this year, top 10 in ISO. They're like bottom 10 in strikeout rate. Sorry, middle of the pack. On the road, though, because we did talk about this before, they play in the most pitcher-friendly venue in the league. On the road, Seattle has a bottom 4 strikeout rate. They have a league-high 11.1% walk rate, a 160 ISO, which is 12th, and a 126 WRC plus, which is second. 349 WOBA sits third in baseball behind the Yankees and the Cubs. So yes, if you wanted to make an argument that this spot against Stephen Kolek is viable, you don't have to twist my arm there, brother. 4.3 run total, not super high. It's not like you're getting leverage against a high-owned pitcher, so, that is what it is. That's kind of why I like Tampa Bay a little bit, and it's why I like Miami a little bit, because both of those pitchers should have some ownership. I don't know if there's necessarily any high-owned pitchers that I want to stack against. I don't really want to stack against Sale, Reagans, Burns, Crochet, Webb. Definitely not Webb. Bradley and Max Meyer are probably the 2 top ones that I'd consider. Those are probably the 1 and the 2. Yeah. Mohamed, San Diego bullpen is really good. That's another thing people forget all the time, right? When you look at some of these teams and you ignore the fact that the bullpen is good, it's a problem. But also, you can overanalyze something like that. Because, let's just say Athletics had a really great bullpen. If Osvaldo Bido gives up 8 runs in the first 1 and 2/3 innings, it doesn't really matter. Because if a pitcher gets hammered and now you need to bring in relief in the 3rd inning, they're not bringing in the Stallions, right? You're more than likely just trying to get through that game, which is 1 of 162. So if a starting pitcher gets blown up early, the likelihood that you're bringing in one of your setup guys, obviously not your closer, or even one of your top long relief guys who's probably already within that rotation, seems unlikely. Probably bringing somebody in to eat up a handful of innings that isn't exactly Cy Young worthy. So that's the way I look at it. I try not to worry too much about that. Anyway, the Sims have been killing it for us. I atone for my own sins for not showcasing so many of these amazing low stakes wins using the Sims tool. And it just proves you that you don't need to be a high stakes player to really benefit from these tools. Remember what I said the other day. Think about the type of edge that you have using tools like this in a mini max or in a solo shot or in a quarter jukebox. Think about that edge compared to playing these tools in high stakes, where many of these pros are already using these tools or have built them themselves. Or even the flagship contest, the marquee contest, where all of the sharps are in there. That's why I told you guys, use this promo, Micro, MICRO, with the link in the description. Get 75% off MLB Core Sims Monthly. The entire month, you're getting 75% off with the Sims and every single tool that we have in the platform for MLB, including the single lineup sim, including the lineup, the post-contest sim, everything you see me use here on the show, top pitchers, top stacks, you name it. You've been on the fence wanting to get in thinking, you know what, I don't know if I'm paying full price, but I want to try these tools out. I want to become a better DFS player. Here you go. MLB Core Sims, it's less than $1 a day. Like I said, I can assure you, we all spend money on dumb stuff. We all do. Every one of us. But if this is something you love, and if this is something, whether it's a hobby or an investment, or you're a semi-serious player, why not try and give yourself a bigger edge, right? And with the promo code like Micro, there's some things in life you just can't grow no matter what you do. But in this case, you can grow your bankroll and you can give yourself an edge. Use that code, guys, and hit me up in the DMs if you have any questions about it. I'll shoot you the tutorials over. I'll help you get set up. If you ever have questions, you know I'm happy to answer them. For any of you guys who have hit me up before, You know I get there as quick as I can. Anyway, awesome slate today. Excited to do this one. Thank you guys for hanging out as always. Love you guys, and I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up on your way out if you don't mind. It goes a long way. And I'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend. Get in on the Sims. Join the Discord. The Discord comes with this. Jump in the Discord. You'll learn a lot from a lot of sharp people in there if I'm not able to help you. And we'll see you back here after the weekend, guys. Have a great one, and good luck tonight. Let's take it down. Rocking that Stokastic avatar to make sure it pays off even better afterwards, and the win is just that much sweeter. Peace.